is up, everyone? Welcome to Life in Focus. We got a great guest with us today, man. We have Bryana Michelle Williams, BMW Financials,
Yes.
and consultants, and Detroit's premier life insurance agent.
Yeah.
She's killing the game right now. And we got her here. And we're gonna get to know her better, and we are gonna find out a little bit about the insurance game, right? Because I think everyone kind of needs insurance and kind of,
Yes. Everybody does. Yes.
and just needs to know a little bit about it, right? But before we dive into that, tell us a little bit about Bryana. Who is Bryana Michelle Williams?
So I'm from Southfield, Michigan. So I was born and raised here in Michigan. Went to Southfield Public Schools.
What high school?
I went to Southfield Lathrop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went to Southfield Lathrop. And I pretty much been in Southfield half of my life. And then I eventually moved to the East Side. I'm currently an East Sider. And I live in Sterling Heights now.
Nice. How'd you get from Southfield to Sterling Heights?
Actually, I moved from Southfield in 2020 during COVID. And at that time, I moved back home with my parents. And I was looking for another apartment, to live in and move to. But during that time, and currently, you guys see the market for apartments, the rent was super high. It was way more than what I was paying originally when I had my apartment. So I was like, you know what, let me actually step out and purchase my first property. So I decided to purchase my condo in 2020. It was a great deal. Interest rates were stupid low back then. So I seized the opportunity. I always liked that side of town over there by Hall Road. So yeah.
Nice. And now you're doing insurance?
Yes.
What'd you do before insurance?
So I was in HR for 12 years. I was recruiting majority of the time in HR, actually the entire time in HR. I initially started as an HR generalist. Then I was an HR manager for a hot second. But the area of HR that I enjoyed most was recruiting. So I started recruiting in 2014.
Like new employment, like
employment recruiting. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so say if I needed a job, mm-hmm. you would help me go and get me a job and help me.
So I worked in different industries. So like initially when I first started recruiting, I was in the financial space, and then I transitioned over into the manufacturing and food distribution space, and then from there I was in healthcare for majority of my time in recruiting.
What'd you learn?
As far as like
in the
just recruiting in general. Yeah. So I worked with different agencies. I worked in-house, and then I also worked with an agency. And both has its perks and challenges. But what I enjoyed most though was the actual job and presenting opportunities to people that people weren't necessarily looking for. I really enjoyed the healthcare space, recruiting nurses. They're just some awesome people. And actually recruiting for nurses during COVID was really like kind of emotional at that time because a lot of nurses were trying to get out of the hospital, trying to work remote, or trying to get back home to their families. So it was an experience. Just got to know a lot of different people on a personal level beyond just like looking for a job.
What would you say you learned the most during that period that makes you strong today?
I think working with people. Understanding people at first and foremost was always something that I valued. You didn't really see that in the culture in corporate America, but it was something that I truly value, which is why I want to get into HR, because people are your greatest asset in anything that you do. And I value people at the end of the day and really get to know the person. So I've always been like slightly a people person. I'm kind of introverted too, but I do enjoy meeting new people and getting to know people beyond the surface. So I think that kind of carried over into any area of like any career that I decided was always like people motivated for me.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. Cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you're in recruiting at this time. You're pushing. Why do you decide to get out of recruiting?
Well, I got fired.
Oh snap! You got fired? What
I
happened?
got fired. My mom transitioned. She's dead. She passed away March of 2024.
That's recent. That's really.
Yeah, last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So during that time, I was obviously, grieving, and I wasn't showing up how they are used to me showing up and performing how, to their standard. And I was completely transparent where I was. I said, this is my capacity, the best I can give in this time. And I even asked to potentially go part time, but it was an opportunity for me there. So I didn't push. Honestly, I didn't want to work. I was scared though because I was used to my income, but at that time I really didn't care. I just it was a dark time, but at the same time I was willing to bet on myself. At the same time,
I'm sorry about that.
it's okay.
How mate, so your mom's death really took a toll on you.
Yeah,
Um,
I was already studying to get my license anyway for life insurance and health insurance. I wanted to because my plan was even before she passed. My plan was to get my license in health insurance and life insurance. I wanted to work part time for the Affordable Care Act, the Obama Care. You know how people,
they were jumping on that.
Yeah, I
back
was
in the
jumping
day.
on
Like
that.
that was a big
Yeah,
thing back in
it
the day.
was.
Like the
It
whole
was.
Obamacare, and let's get that. How did that work out?
I never got to do that,
Oh,
just timing wise. So, because I had a lot going on at that time, still had my businesses because I still was doing. I'm a photographer too, and I still had the studio space that I was running, and on top of my job, and then trying to care for my mom, full time. So, my point was I was already working on my license. So after she transitioned, I just went even harder, and because they let me go, and I wasn't trying to just wait around. I got unemployment for a hot second, but unemployment is like nickels and pennies. It was something, but it was really pennies. So I just went hard, passed my test on first go,
go get them. Nice.
and so I just started looking for agencies to sign under because you have to be under a IMO.
Yeah.
So I found someone in the healthcare space, and I was going to push the Medicare, which is still a goal of mine. But Medicare, doing that, I wouldn't have been paid until January. With life insurance, you get paid like right away. So I just decided to go the life insurance route
Nice.
initially. But then learning about life insurance, and then witnessing my mother allowing her life insurance to lapse, I saw the value in that, so I just fell into that too.
How did your mom pass?
Lung cancer.
Lung cancer. Wow. Did she smoke?
No. Well, she smoked years ago in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 80s. So I got my theories, but,
What are they?
Well, okay. So, during COVID and, they were pushing the vaccines and stuff. And my mom and dad.
Wait, did you get vaccinated?
I didn't.
You didn't mean either.
I didn't. And, they were pushing the shots. They were pushing, especially in that community. The older generation were scared. And I feel like they were really banking on people's fears. And my parents were scared. They made the best decision that they felt like they needed to make. But I will say, like, maybe 3 weeks after that, they both had developed blood clots. My dad got blood clots in his leg. My mom had blood clots in her lung.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and that's how they found the mass. So she had the blood clots and she had pneumonia at the same time. So it was a lot going on up here.
Yeah.
And they didn't move on doing any biopsies at that time because she was so sick. She was really sick, so she had to even stay at a long-term care facility.
Let's slow down. What are you thinking at this time? So she gets the vaccine. You start seeing all these things starting going wrong with her.
I knew. I mean, I felt it, and I didn't say anything. I wouldn't want her to feel guilty or bad. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I understand why they made that decision, but I begged both of them not to get that shot.
Damn. Damn, that's crazy. And so she starts getting the blood shot. She starts getting sicker at that time.
Yep. And then eventually, I think it was that November where she went for a biopsy, and they did diagnose her with the lung cancer. Even when we took her in for her scans to get the CAT scan, the technician even asked, like, did you get vaccinated? And he said that he noticed an influx of cases cancer cases since that vaccine rolled out.
Whoa. That's craziness.
It is.
Yeah, I totally, like, when that time came, like, when we were like, should we get vaccinated and whatnot, like, my sister was like, don't do it, you know, don't get vaccinated, don't get, I think she calls it stuck or pinched or some shit. Like
Jabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she has a word for it, and she's like, don't do it. Yeah, but I was never one, like, I was never the type to ever get sick, right? Like, to this day, thank God, like, we don't get sick. Like, you know, once in a while, we might get, like, a cough or something, but, we're pretty, like, healthy. And I was just like, why would I, why would I do that and kind of put my own
Yeah, because it
immune
was, like,
system,
immediate.
yeah.
It was, like, a weird...
My immune system works fine as it is. Why would I do anything to kind of, like, throw it off center and stuff? So I told me and my son, I'm like, no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
And
I didn't judge people that did. I got judged because I didn't. Because people didn't want me coming around because I wasn't, both our peers were like, well, you're not vaccinated. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, even to this day, you get judged, right? Like, people, like, judge you, like, oh, you're not vaccinated. Like, who cares? Like, you need to be, obviously, but.
Right, to each their own, but I just felt like it was too premature. It was really rapid how they got this cure. This medicine now all of a sudden that was such a mystery disease. Yeah. It was just really suspicious to me. So,
and kind of gave you kind of hunger for the insurance game.
That didn't influence my decision of moving into the insurance game. What influenced that was I just was ready to leave my 9 to 5. And I wanted to be in an area that I felt like I would thrive in. So I felt like I would do good in insurance.
And then besides the insurance, you do, before you started that insurance work, you said you did photography.
Yeah.
And you're like a really good photographer. Like, you do some amazing work. And it's a boudoir, and you work with all these beautiful women. You set them up. You build confidence. Tell me a little about that. How'd you get started in that?
So I started shooting.
You have a name. You have a name for your company.
Be More You Boudoir.
What was that?
Be More You. It's Be More You Photography, but the boudoir, genre is Be More You Boudoir.
How can people look you up if they wanna?
On Instagrams, Be More You Boudoir, and then on Facebook it's Be More You Boudoir. B as in B, the letter, dot, MOREYOUBOUDOIR.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And so you get into this. How'd you get into that? Like, how?
So I started shooting when I was 12 as an outlet.
When you were 12?
Yeah, not boudoir, just shooting photography.
Figuring out a camera.
Yeah, right. It was like an outlet for me at that time. I was always into the arts. My parents exposed me and my sister both to the arts at a young age, and the arts was just always something a part of us. Like, I started playing piano when I was 9.
Damn, you can play piano?
Not anymore. I don't play.
Uh-huh.
I don't play anymore. Then I started playing the violin when I was probably like 6, I think, 6 or 7. And then I was in ballet. I was in modern dance, hip hop dance. So I was always in the arts, and I always used the arts as a form of like a, outlet and expression. Photography, I always just was drawn to just pictures, and seeing a story in pictures. Like, Gordon Parks was one of my favorite photographers growing up that was inspiring to me. And him being a black man in that time and the work that he did was with film photography specifically was very, like, intriguing to me. So my first camera was a film camera. I learned how to develop in the dark room. I didn't learn to do that though until college. I took a course at Marygrove. And then from 12 until probably like in my 20s, I was shooting with the film, and then eventually I got a digital camera and I started shooting digitally.
That was a transition too, going digitally from regular film. Yeah, that was like I remember that.
Yeah. So what inspired me to make it a business, though, I was working in the bars, and some of the girls, like at the bars, they would have their birthday parties and stuff, so they would get their pictures taken for their birthday or whatever, like, professional photographers or whatever. I don't mean to do that, but, professional photographers. And I used to just, like, at that time I was like an aspiring model too, and I felt the lack of professionalism in that space, and I was just like, man, I could do what y'all doing and be more professional. So.
And then boudoir, and then
The boudoir,
the whole
yeah.
genre of the boudoir.
Yep.
Okay. Because that's an untouched. I feel like it's untouched. I've done like boudoir for a little bit, and that whole genre of photography is untouched, especially in Detroit. Like,
Yeah, it's become more popular, I feel like, here recently, but it wasn't, especially with black people. You know, you really didn't see it in the black community as much as you would see in our counterparts. But it's become a little bit more popular here recently, I think.
I do too. I'm starting to see a lot more of it. And I'm starting seeing a lot more photographers pop up in that
Yeah.
in that field.
But, I try to create a whole experience. Like, it's sensual photography, but it's like that fine line of what people may perceive it to be. That some people may consider it to be more like kink, but from my intention of how I project my work to be is artistic, sensual, subjective. Like, is it subjective? Is that the word I'm trying to say?
Sure, yeah.
Suggestive. Yeah,
Suggestive.
suggestive.
Yeah.
Not like in your face, titties, booty, all that. Like, it's more like you can see the shape of a woman, the shadows, the highlights.
I mean, I had the honor to film some content for you.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got to talk to some of your clients, and what they got to say, it was like, you have this thing about you where you give them confidence, right? And I think that's very important. Like, if somebody's internally feeling self-conscious, and you're able to turn that around and show them a different side of themselves.
Yeah.
Show them a piece of themselves that they've never seen
Yeah.
before, right?
Yeah.
Show them a side of themselves that they've never seen. I think that's crazy. Like, I think it's a skill in itself, right? Like, I think that's something like people want to do. You know what I mean? If you have that control.
Because most of my clients
talent.
have never done anything like this before, so they are like nervous. So I had that in mind. So that's why I create the space to be as warm and inviting as possible. Like the makeup artist, she's a part of the experience. So, because I've worked with several makeup artists over the years, and I've been real intentional with who I'm working with in that space, so women can feel good about themselves. It's about them, you know what I mean? And, having music going, we got wine or mimosas going, so it's a whole, like, vibe in there.
Yeah, and it's strictly for women, right? Like, you got no men running up in there, like.
Well, it's open to all, mostly women book with me, though. But I've shot trans women before, I've shot gay men before, lesbians, so it's not specific to any gender.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's hot. Nice. And what does that do for you? Like, what is it when you do that? Like, and you're with those clients, and you come back, and you see them, and you see the results, or you see the pictures.
I feel good. I feel good.
Does it feel good?
Yeah,
It does
I feel good.
It feels real good, don't it?
It does. I feel good, especially if they look good too. Like, it'd be some dope shots. So yeah, I feel good.
Nice. So you do that on the side. You have a spot, right?
Yeah,
You got
downtown.
Where's that at?
It's off of Jefferson on Iron Street.
Okay, and it's a studio. People go in there and you check it out. You have all of
the House of Content.
Oh, is that what the name of it?
Yeah.
House of Content.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That could be a show.
Yeah. Well, I attempted to do something like this before.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was called The Purple Couch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happened to
I
it?
got like one episode.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Why'd you stop it?
Because it was just too much on my, I'm doing a lot. Like, sometimes I gotta be realistic and focus on what I need to focus on before I try to start something else. And sometimes my ADD kicks in, like, oh, I can do that. And like, no, you're all over the place. So it's
How
a
do you
good
control
idea.
that? I'm the same way. What's
With
a
the
good?
ADD?
Yeah. What's a good thing to like? Because I'm busy. Like, I'm all over the place. Like, I have a book of clients of 2,000 people. Like, and so my days are just crazy. And I lose. Like, I have one thing about me that's bad, right? Like, I have, I'm so worried about other people's content, and I don't focus on my own content, right? Like, I should be out there. I should be out there posting. And I have some amazing stuff. Like, I do some amazing stuff, and I work with some amazing people, and I never really get the back scene end of things, right? Like, 'cause I'm in the back end. I'm always behind the camera. And so I don't have somebody to kind of follow me around with the camera and kind of
Yeah.
watch what I do. And so for a long time, it's kind of like, kind of prevented me from, just posting like my company QPS, because I really wanted to look a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right now, if you look at all my social media, it's kind of scattered. You go to my page, I'm in Thailand in one place, and then I'm recording in another place. Like it's so,
Yeah.
I do need a hub. I do need a hub.
Where you can send people to.
Yeah, to send people
Yeah,
to.
but that's dope though. You be busy like that without it.
Yeah, it's
you
great.
know?
Yeah, it's a
'Cause
lot of
most
word of
people
mouth.
do that so they can get the business.
Right.
But I think it's cool to have your brand too. So
Yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time, and the way that I attacked it was like, I'm only going to work with a certain type of people, right? Only and if I see a story behind you, then I want to work with you, right? Like if I can see the potential of growth, I'm going to try my best to work with you and try to get something popping.
yeah.
So I followed that for the last 15 years. You know what I mean? I've never really went out and oh, let me please do this job for you. I've done a lot of free work. Don't get me wrong, but I've not. I've always kind of stuck to my own little game plan. What kind of made me, me. You know what I mean? And how I want to do it. I never wanted to pick a certain genre. I wanted to do all types of photography. You know what I mean? Right? I've done headshots. I've done corporate. I've done boudoir. I've done everything in the photography business and even in the video business too. And some people say, well, James, that hurts you because you don't have a niche. I'm like, no, it doesn't hurt me because I have everything's in my niche, right? I can go anywhere and I can edit anything to make it look hot or make it fit that that look. So,
Yeah.
no, I get it. I definitely get it, man, and I can appreciate, your struggles in the creative field, just because.
Yeah. But the ADD is real though.
Oh, it's so real. It's so real. Like for me, like I can't even concentrate, man. Like there's some things I'll editing one thing, and then I'll stop it, and then I'll
Get put sidetracked, easily distracted.
yeah.
But what helped me is like I had to stop saying yes to the impulse. I think impulse is a thing too. Like where you have a great idea and you just go, or get a great feeling about something, you just go. And then with that though, like it's the follow through isn't always there, because it's like I impulsively said yes to this, not thinking like, okay, do I have the capacity?
Yeah.
Like get back focused on what I was focused on. Like what's the goal? Stick to the goal. Get back to the goal, and then that's been helping me. And then thinking that like I had this idea, I think us as a culture have this idea that multitasking is the way to like operate, and multitasking can create a lot of unnecessary stress and get you distracted and sidetracked and not fully show up in a particular area or task that you may need to pay more attention to. So I'm learning to not multitask so much.
Nice.
Yeah.
I get it. And so we got you with the boudoir. And so you're entering insurance now, right? So you're in this insurance field.
Yeah.
Insurance is a hard sell. Especially life insurance, right? Like if you're selling life insurance, I just found it to be it's a hard sell. Like people are always not going to show up, right? They're going to promise you one thing and then do another thing, right? How, especially in the beginning, right? How do you overcome that? Like how do you plant a successful tree of growth in the insurance world?
So I think wording and word choice is something I had to like reframe. Like I don't look at it like selling, even though it is sales. I don't look at it as selling, because I feel like selling is like you're trying to convince or influence someone to buy into whatever it is that you're presenting. My ideal people is they see the value. Like it don't take any convincing. Like they see the value in it, although they might not have had the time to do their own research, but they've been presented an opportunity now because somebody approached them about it, and they may know me from someone that they might know. Then we could proceed with business from there.
Right.
So it's like more so people that gotta either see the value or you don't. I'm not trying to convince or chase anyone down for business, because I think in this business people do have that idea that you have to sell these people, you have to influence their decisions, and some people do have that approach. But me, I'm a bit different. Like I don't want to feel like I have to convince you or chase people down. Like I present opportunities, I do follow up, and I will follow up because you expressed interest. Or you may not, I don't assume, maybe you didn't see the message, and I'll just follow up. Because most of my marketing is online on social media.
And how do you do that?
Just through IG, Facebook, sliding people DMs, people that we've connected together, whether it's like, friend requests, they might have friend requested me, I friend request them. Now I am intentional about growing my network, so I am actively adding people to my network to message based off of what I see on their page, like whether they're a parent, a mom, or a dad, or recently got married. I kind of pay attention to that because usually people who have had a child, they may need coverage for their child.
You kind of scan them out first and see what they're all about.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then you get your kind of plan of attack that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you do that, what do you find the most of? Like when you're scanning someone out, or you're what's a word that I'm looking for? Scan. He's going through your own. What's the word I'm looking for? Like your own analysis, customer analysis, right? So what do you find most of? Like what's the majority of people out there?
Like it's a mix, honestly. Like I've gotten policies of people that don't have kids, people that do have kids, people that are married, aren't married. So it's been a mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
What when you're doing I'm like kind of concerned like with the objections. Like what kind of objections do you get, and how do you overcome these objections, right? Like because they should be like the majority of your day, right? I can't see everyone coming up and being like, oh, I want life insurance. I want life insurance.
Yeah, no.
Right. So
some people hit me up and say, yeah, I need some. Now that they see what I do.
Right.
But majority of the time it is either crickets or I already got coverage, through my job, or I got coverage through my husband, or we're all set, not really giving any details.
Right, right.
So, but how I overcome, especially those that say that they have coverage through their jobs, I let them know that that's not your coverage.
Why do you think it's such a hard sell? Like why, especially in the ethnic groups, right? Like I know, I'm part of the Arabic community, and it's hard to sell life insurance to Arabs.
You mean get people that value it?
That don't. I don't think they're. So I'm saying actually the ethnic groups out there, the majority of people don't have life insurance. Arabs would probably give their business up as life insurance, right? I leave you this business for the kid or whatever it is. Why do you think that is? And I think that's the majority of people. Like, why is it such a hard thing when it's so necessary?
I can't speak for other communities as much as I feel like my own. I feel like the Black community is.
But the Black community is the same, right?
But I think the reasoning is different. Like, I think a lot of our people that have experienced, oppression for X amount of years, they have been in survival mode. So they're looking at life insurance like it's a luxury. It's like another expense. They're not looking at it as a necessity, and this is investing into my family. They look at it like, oh, this is just another bill. So I think it's just the mindset behind it, and the misunderstanding behind it, because a lot of people think it's going to be super expensive. When I quote people, they be like, oh, that's it. They just have this idea that it's going to be hundreds of dollars a month. And you can get policies as low as $10, $20 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
I know
of course, depending on age.
Yeah.
A lot of different factors come into play. Age, health.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I think it's just a they don't really understand the value of it completely. And they just don't really know a lot about the options.
Is that something you can say, we can blame on schools and education?
I think education, yeah.
Because we're never taught anything about life insurance or credit in high school.
No.
Or anything.
No, how it can be used as a tool to build wealth. No, not at all. I know other races, a lot of white people, they come out the womb with policies. and have those policies for years. That's building cash.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so
Why? That's the thing. Like another, like why is that? Why is there one culture that's so into it and then another culture that's so out of it?
because resources, like some people have been privy to resources than others. You know, sometimes things have been information has been withheld for a reason. You know,
I'm
I'm
with you.
trying to get all super deep, but you know, like we black people weren't even allowed to read. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it was like a prevention of knowledge and prevention of information intentionally. So it's just kind of like this is like a example of a result of that.
And what year right now are you going on selling insurance?
Oh, this is my first year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I got my license. Well, it'll be a year next month in July last year.
and you're killing the game. Like, and you're killing the game.
I'm, you know,
That's good.
starting.
I.
It's
That's
only the beginning.
right. I dig it. And so now you're one of Detroit's premier insurance reps.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been taking up opportunities just to talk about life insurance, just to participate in different events like vending events, or just speaking engagements. I've never been one to public speak before, but I feel like this is pushing me to do that more now.
What should Detroit know about life insurance? Like, well, right now you have an opportunity to let everybody know. Like, what should we know about life insurance?
I feel like people should know that there are options out here that allow you to accumulate um, more cash than your traditional whole life. I think people know about whole life insurance, and traditionally whole life is like a 2%, 4% interest rate that it can grow from. But there's other policies out here that can be between 6 and 10% interest rate. So that could be significantly higher, especially the younger you are that you get that policy, the more cash that you pour into it, the more growth you'll see. So of course, you know, it takes money to make money with anything, you know, but it acts like has dual purposes. So one, it being life insurance, and two, it's a wealth building tool.
Yeah.
And you should get your child an IUL policy.
An IUL policy?
Yes.
What's an IUL policy?
An IUL policy is an Index Universal Life policy. So this is a whole life policy, but it's a part of the index. And it being a part of the index, that's where you get most of your. That's where the interest is higher than your traditional whole life. Like a traditional whole life is usually a portfolio. It's a conservative portfolio that carriers use people's premiums to invest in. This is the actual index, which is a part of the stock market that people are investing in. But the great thing is, it's like it will grow. That's the only option. Either be at the floor would be 0%, or it would be at the highest, which is I think like 10%. So you're not losing any money like your traditional stock market accounts that you invest in, like your IRAs, 401k, stuff like that. Like you can lose your money. With this, you won't lose anything because it is a life insurance policy. People don't know about that.
Yeah. That's huge, though.
Yeah.
How do we convince people? How do we get them on board?
It's not, again, I'm not trying to convince anybody to do nothing. I'm giving information. Either you see it or you don't, you know? And if you don't, then, you know, okay,
It's your loss.
you know? I was talking to a funeral director the other day, and who we're going to, you know, talk to. And I said, you know, I want to interview, ask you some questions. I'm like, from your perspective of what you've experienced, when you've seen where people can't afford the services that you guys provide, like, what do you see people do? He said they have, like, usually they either try to get out a loan or sell dinners at churches or do GoFundMes. Like, if that's your route that you want to continue to take and put that burden on people, then yeah, that's your choice. It's selfish, if you ask me. But, you know, some people are just selfish.
Yeah.
No judgment, but
Right.
what it is.
It's just, and you have to take the fact that some people just don't have the opportunity, right? Like, some people look at it and they're just like, it's too expensive.
But again, that's an assumption. You know, you're not even having these conversations to see what you can afford. Like, people think that now I will say it does get more expensive the older you get and the more health issues you have. But it's like you have all this time, you know, to decide whether you get some or not, where it won't be so much higher for you. but you're not having these conversations and probably aren't doing the research because it's just not a priority and it's not something you think about. And I'm saying all this because I've been that person too. Like, I didn't get my first policy till last year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in my 40s, so I get it. But when I was presented the opportunity and actually witnessed my mom, you know, her life insurance lapsing, the effects that it caused the family, like, I kind of wish she had a policy, you know?
Yeah.
From me having to immediately go back to work, grieving, you know, get out here hustling, hustle and grieving is the worst combination. But it's like, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But had she had gotten a policy, you know, maybe I could have sat down for a few minutes and regroup, you know what I mean? Or even with my dad.
Your mom didn't have a policy?
She let it lapse. I don't know why.
When they say let it lapse, that means that
she didn't pay the premium.
She didn't pay the premium. Mm-mm. Oh, snap.
No.
So she wasted all that money, let it lapse, and then when her time came, what happened?
It's nothing there. We got nothing for you. We called the insurance company. They're like, yeah, it lapsed. So.
And then you guys were stuck with all like the hospital bills.
Well, yeah.
The funeral.
Well, yeah. Well, now the hospital, I'm still learning. I think like now you don't have to pay back hospital bills or medical bills or something like that.
I don't know.
I've heard something. I haven't done my entire research on it, but I heard something about that. But not even just that. It was the expenses now. Like my dad, even though he was the breadwinner in the marriage, my mom still contributed. She had her Social Security or disability, and that was definitely helping their lifestyle. So with that being gone, you know, we had to do some adjustments, you know, and it's been tight, you know, but we had to do some adjustments, and we're still, like, maneuvering through that. But, again, going back to, like, how she had a policy, considering, like, the mortgage, you know, considering the car, like, considering just the household expenses enough to at least cover for the year of her being gone, that would kind of give us time to adjust and not be so reactionary out of stress and grief, you know?
Yeah. What a lesson, though. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a tough lesson to go through at that time, but wow, like, I can see it.
And so that prompted me, like, okay, I need to get a policy. Even though I don't have kids and I'm not married, me and my sister are really close. Like, I know should I go before her, she's going to take on the responsibility of handling my affairs.
Yeah.
That would be very unfair to me to not set her up properly. You know what I mean? Where she can handle my affairs on my behalf.
Yeah.
You know, and I told her, I'm about to get a policy on you. You need to get one on me too. Because I got her a policy for herself, but I was like, you need to get one on me. And she's like, that sounds so morbid. I'm like, but it is what it is.
But that, you know, that's the thing. Like, I'll be honest with you. One time, I was dating this girl. We were engaged, and she was stressing, "Oh, you need to get a life insurance policy, right?" And I was just like, it gave me, when she was talking to me about it, it gave me such
like
an eerie.
Set you up or something?
Yeah, like give me this like eerie feeling. Like I'm like, hold on, you don't need to worry about this right now. I'm not gonna die anytime soon. You know what I mean? So we don't need to worry about this anytime soon. Even though that could be the wrong perspective on my part, right? Like,
it is.
Even though
but it's common.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, even though she was trying to probably just trying to protect us, right, and trying to protect her investment, right? I really took it as, what are you trying to do? Why are you talking to me? Like, you know what I mean? Don't bring this. I don't want to talk about this right now.
Yeah.
I don't need to talk about it right now. You know what I mean? That's how I took it. And even though, looking back at it, like maybe I should have just kind of like. But I'm happy I didn't, because we didn't end up being together. So you know what I mean?
Because you also didn't die. So
yeah, and plus we didn't die. So does it justify my thinking?
No,
or
because
does
the point is you're gonna die still. You still have people that will be probably taking on the responsibility of your passing.
100%.
You need to make sure they straight.
Well, my thing is why do I have that? And I know millions of other people think the same way. Why do I have that mentality? Like, why do I feel threatened when you talk life insurance?
Because you're making it about you.
It is about me, though.
It's not.
Right. I am making it about me.
Yeah.
But the life insurance is about me, though, right? Like,
I mean, you will be the source,
right?
You know, but will you have the benefit of it? No, you'll be gone.
Right.
But who would be alive that will still be, you know what I'm saying, responsible or affected?
The logic is there.
Yeah.
The logic makes sense 100%. But why is that a fact there? Like, why?
Because you're still stuck on you. We all got selfish ways.
We do.
You
We do
know?
got selfish. It is selfish.
You know, so
For me, I was like, I just want to like, for me, like, my mindset is just leave everything to my son. My son gets everything, right? Like, he gets it all.
yeah.
And that's it. Like, you know what I mean? And hopefully, like, within that all, there's enough there to take care of everything that, I leave behind that I need to take care of, whether it's my funeral or whatever.
Yeah, the funeral expenses. You gotta consider that, the funeral expenses. And when I talk to like people who are in relationship or have a significant other and they live together and they're trying to determine what their death benefit should be, I say, like, do you guys have a mortgage? You want to consider that if you contribute to the mortgage. Or if you're a stay-at-home mom, yeah, you're not working, and maybe he's not missing your contribution to the household in that way, but if you guys have little kids, you're no longer going to be here who's going to watch the kids. You got to consider daycare, that as an expense. Or just even thinking about just your kids in general, maybe leaving something behind for them just to have.
Right. I always said that insurance is definitely what keeps the rich rich and the poor poor. Right? Like, if you don't have insurance and you're paying all these medical bills without insurance, like, that's just going to keep you in debt. And if you have insurance, and you're insured, you're just going to be protected from whatever life throws at you.
Yeah.
It's
It's
huge.
decisions.
Yeah. It's
Simple as
crazy.
that. And again, it doesn't have to be super expensive. And of course, the younger you get it, the less expensive it will be.
Yeah.
But,
So let's say, like, me right now, I'm 47 years old. I got a little something put away for my kid. Like, you know what I mean? Literally, what's the best route for me right now? Saying hopefully I live till, like, I'm 70. What would be the best plan for me to be like, okay, let's say 89. I want to be like 89 when I go, right? So, God willing, I stay that long. But let's just be like, what would be the best policy for me, even though I have a little something put away for him, right? What would be good for me right now and protect myself and protect my empire that I'm trying to build?
the IUL route.
The IUL route?
Yeah.
What is that again?
It's the whole life. It's a whole life policy.
Whole life policy?
Because the older you are, you can still do term. Term is not as expensive, but term has a term. It's an end date.
Yeah.
So usually it's it starts after like 10 years and it goes all the way to 30 years. But the older you get, your cutoff may be 20 years and not 30 years. So you're going to still, hopefully, God willing, still be here in 20 years, maybe even 30 years. Then when you hit the end of that term, usually people convert over to a whole life. But at that point, you're 70-something years old, that premium going to be stupid high at that point. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well I feel like, if you qualify for it, get a IUL policy, which the premiums usually aren't that high, and they'll get the living benefits of the cash accumulation, too.
Like, is there
if you want to pull out.
If with that IUL, does it protect you from, like, other things? Like, does it protect you, like, say if you lose your job? Does it protect you if...
So you can pull out from the death benefit if you are diagnosed with, like, a critical illness, or they call it accelerated death benefit. So if you were diagnosed with an internal terminal illness, you can pull up to, like, some are like 80% or 90% of the death benefit.
But you gotta have the insurance in place for a while for that to take place.
No, you don't.
Oh, really?
No, you just have to prove that you're gonna pass, and like you probably, like, I think it's like 5 years or something like that, like where you're given some type of type of like
We can get a doctor.
prognosis. Look at you trying to play the system.
I'm not trying to play
you said it so naturally. You can get doctors now.
Yeah, you can get a doctor's note. Be like, yeah, this guy's gonna pass in 5 years. I'm sure it's been done before.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, but
That's crazy.
why?
No, I get it.
But yeah. So you
Nice.
gonna get a policy?
I've been trying. We talked about it. We've talked about it. Like, I do want to get something a little bit more that protects me, like, and protects my business. I want to get, like, some kind of umbrella, like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like this really protects my business.
I just wanted to get on record.
Yeah, no, I do. I do want to enhance what I have and kind of move.
Yeah.
Make a move with it.
Yeah.
Right. We'll see. We'll see in good time what happens.
Yeah.
But
What do
you
you
know,
mean? See what happens.
I want to, you know, it's just the lack of knowledge for me.
Well, what more do you feel like you need to know?
Like what other ways I can protect myself, taxes, or like, you know, what type of insurances are out
It's
there
tax
that.
deferred. Like that, IULs
Yeah.
are tax deferred money.
Oh yeah.
So you could pull it out, yeah, tax free.
Wow. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to look into it. The IUS.
Yeah.
Check that out.
You and your son.
Yeah, for sure. No,
Because again, the younger the better.
I agree 100%. I do. Um, with that, I mean, so what's the next step for you? Like, what? So now we got everything in place. What's your next move in the insurance game?
It's just really strategizing with marketing.
How does that look?
So with content, you know, shooting content, putting content out there, being regiment with my schedule. This is my first time where I'm a full-time entrepreneur, and I realize time is everything. And that's been like an intention for me to really get regiment with my schedule. Because naturally, well, I'll say I've been conditioned to kind of like just move off of like what I feel, you know. And I'm learning when it comes to like when you really try to scale your business, you got to be detailed, strategic, and like focused and disciplined.
Yep.
So for me, the next thing for me is just really adjusting to that and growing within that. And from that, you know, growth will happen.
I get it. No, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
What do you feel? What do you feel? How is the insurance game going to change in the next 5 years? Do you think? With the new, like with this whole new administration, have you seen anything change with the new administration and the insurance game?
I haven't.
Do you
No.
see more people like with this new administration? Do you feel like they're more willing, or is it more like people are just?
I've heard, you know, I've experienced both ends where it's like, well, I don't know how this market is. You know, they're, especially with the IULs, they're like, oh, I don't know how this market's going to be. I don't know about my money being in the index like that. Even if I let them know that you're not going to.
Are you a Trumper? Do you like Trump?
I don't I don't feel anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you vote for him?
No. No.
Did you vote for Kamala?
I did.
Dang, you voted for Kamala.
I did.
Why'd you vote for Kamala?
Um.
What about her was enticing?
Do we really got to talk about this?
No, we don't.
Okay.
We don't have to talk about, we don't gotta talk about it. Absolutely.
I'd rather not.
That's cool.
I'd rather not.
That's cool. No worries.
But I'm not an anti-Trump person. But I'm also not a Trump supporter at the same time. It's
Yeah.
kind of like
It is what it is.
that's my take, and I also feel like I'm working on my mindset where it's like I'm taking more accountability in my life and what my life is going to look like regardless who's in office.
Right, right.
So that's like my mindset, because Kamala ain't going to help my goals. Trump ain't going to help my goals. So I just don't feel connected in that way, personally. And I don't have
agree.
kids. Maybe I feel different if I had kids.
Yeah, no, I think I feel the same way. Like I'm just not, you know, it's exactly what you said it. Like I feel like I'm just more worried about my goals. The politics, yeah, it's a good conversation. Like if you want to speak about it, but am I invested in it? No.
Yeah.
Like, am I worried about, like, am I really worried about the Trump administration and what they're doing? Not really. Like, you know what I mean? Because I know at the end of the day, in another 4 years, it's just going to change again, and someone else is going to do something different, and the cycle continues.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I haven't really felt pressure from really any administration, really. Like the Biden administration, the Bush administration. I
Feel like you still just been
I just
living.
work. Yeah, I work, I live, I pay my bills, I pay my taxes, and, you know, I'm trying to worry about my goals the next time. So I don't really think too much about the politics and stuff. I don't really like people that try to fight politics and talk about politicians and, And I'm like, why are you so invested? Like, there's so much things that you could put your efforts into instead of following this guy around, calling him names, and
Yeah.
you know, like, what are you doing, man? It's
Yeah.
not that serious, or unless it is serious. I don't know, but
I don't know
to
either.
me,
It's just I haven't, everybody gets affected differently, So I know people are being affected by some of the decisions that's happening, with Medicare and Job Corps here recently.
does that affect the insurance game? That like anything that happens with Medicare or Medicaid, does that?
Now with Medicaid, because you have that supplemental piece. So some people who have Medicaid, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know because I haven't been in that health space. So I don't even want to speak on it.
So, but you only do like life
Life.
insurance
Yeah.
policy, but you don't actually do like other insurances, like actual medical insurance.
No,
or-
I do like critical illness, like stuff like that.
You have the
for
capabilities.
ancillary-
Like, if I wanted to get like Blue Cross Blue Shields, could I come to you?
for ancillary products, yes.
Yeah.
And ancillary products are like your critical illness, accidental injury, long-term care, and like hospital indemnities. So stuff like that, yeah.
I got you.
But I do plan on getting on the Medicaid side this annual enrollment period. So I'm still learning about Medicaid. So I can.
What benefits do you see that are wanting you to gravitate towards that?
So now I will say, like, prescription medications the cost of that has gone up significantly, and it's kind of sad. Some people can't even afford their meds. Now that has been a decision that's coming from the administration. So that's why it's like I know people are being affected, so I can't negate that. But have I been directly affected? Thank God, not as of yet. So, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think about Diddy?
I don't think about Diddy either.
Well, I know, like,
That's
nobody thinks
another-
about that, but what's like his whole situation right now? Like,
I don't think about Diddy. Like, I'm like, when I say this, and I don't mean this like sounding arrogant or anything. Like, I just care about me right now. Like, that man been rich.
Yeah.
He done made his money. I'm focused on getting my bag and my money.
right?
So, like, what he got going on, I mean, I feel sorry for whoever's been the victim in that situation.
Do you feel like Cassidy's been a victim in that?
I don't know enough to say yes or no. You
Yeah.
know, I feel like a lot of us probably don't know enough to say yes or no. And I think a lot of
I mean, I've been watching some of the courts on that.
what do you feel?
I feel like I'm gonna play devil's advocate on it, right? And first of all, I know, like, Diddy is morally wrong. He's a morally wrong man, right? Like, there's nothing good about Diddy, but for him to be charged, racketeering, sex trafficking, all this stuff, like, kind of, and then with the case, like with all the evidence in the case and stuff, I'm just kind of like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it feels like the punishment is harder than
The crime.
the crime, right?
Okay.
Like, if he was, on trial for being abusive, then yeah, then 100% he's 100% guilty. But all this other stuff that they're trying to put on him, I feel it kind of is just like, it's a little much.
Okay.
It's a little much. And then the reason why I'm saying that, because in the beginning of the thing, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, see, Diddy did this. But then when you start hearing the stories and the cases, and you start hearing like the witnesses and stuff, you're like, hold on a second, man, this doesn't really make sense. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, this girl Cassidy, she was, she was like paying for the escorts. Like, she was setting up the times and dates, right? She was like, she's like, okay, she was having consensual sex with the escort people, doing whatever, setting up the dates, setting up the plan, like, doing all the work, right? And for a very long time, and I'm just like, damn, if that's the case, like, you could have walked out of this thing any time. Like, you could have said anything, right? But you were like, she was like, hung up on his glitz and glamour and his popularity,
Yeah.
which made her want to do this stuff, even, like, or gave her the okay to justify her own actions while she was doing this.
I guess, and another reason why I'm not gonna say I don't care, but it's just really common, unfortunately. Is it's like Diddy's not the first.
Yeah, he's
Cassie's
not
not the first. Like this happens pretty often, but like you say, it's like a moral issue I think it's a social issue. Like it's human thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And people, people go through whatever they go through, which make them do what they do, and
it really makes me feel like I have this saying, like, the wicked are all on top.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You think so?
Yeah, dude. It's there's a lot of, at least, a lot of the wicked are on top. You know what I mean? Or a lot of the people on top are wicked. I would even say like the majority have like these moral thing, and you can see them. You see them every day. Like they're being morally challenged every day with the internet or cancellation or whatever. And I think there's a lot of bad people up top and just living life they want to.
Or do you feel like it's just the ways of the world, though?
I do. It's human nature, 100%.
Yeah. I don't think it's human nature. I think it's the conditioning.
It's human. I think, no, it's human. The conditioning is what sets human nature, no? Like,
human nature, when people
the world's
say human
condition.
nature, I think nature is like you were born like this. I don't think we were born to be inhumane. I think that stuff is conditioned and taught.
Yeah.
And like cope, like how people cope can be like really messed up.
But bad behavior is taught.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm doing bad shit, like if I'm doing shit that's just, I won't say it's been taught to me, but yeah, it's like it's taught, right? Like bad shit. Like when you do shit, like it's either inspired by someone else or a bad idea or something, and then I don't know. But I do think the wicked are ruling the earth right now. They're taking over, and it's up to the good. I feel like the majority of good, is a lot less than the majority of the bad right now.
Yeah, I think that's just the world, though.
It is. It's always been that concept where people think like, oh, since it's so bad in the world right now, the end is coming, apocalypse.
No, because it's like people have been terrible since
the beginning,
right?
Yeah. And been calling the ends of time since the beginning of time.
Yeah, and people think things are getting worse, but shoot, I don't know. I think we kind of came a little ways from evolving. I think people are evolving more now. I think people are healing more now.
You think so?
Yeah. Like
you think it's getting better, or you think it's getting worse?
I think it's gotten better to where, like, I mean,
in the last, let's say the last 10 years, has it gotten worse or has it gotten better around the world?
I think it's like certain things. Certain things have become a little bit more crazier, but then certain things have gotten better. Like it's I don't think it's that black and white.
Give me an example.
Like, okay, well, we're not enslaved anymore.
Are we? Are we not? Like, isn't it a different way you could say that we're...
I would take this slavery over back in the day. I'm sorry.
Sure, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I could do that. I can agree to that.
So I think things have improved on some level. You know what I mean? Meaning people become more aware. People are holding people more accountable. People are talking more. People calling people out more.
Yeah.
People are this is what I feel like Revelations is about, is like revealing what's been going on behind closed doors for all these years. So I think things are improving and people are being held accountable.
I like it.
Yeah.
I do. Did you hear about that? Did you hear about that guy that killed his 3 daughters?
Mm-mm.
There's a guy in Washington right now. Killed his 3 daughters, and he's hiding in the woods. And I guess
now?
I guess he had PSD or PTSD. Mm-hmm. He's a war veteran. Like, I think he was in Desert Storm or some shit. And they're looking for him now. And this guy killed his 3 daughters over some stupid shit. Yeah.
How old were the daughters?
Young, like 5, 8, and like 7 or some shit like that. Yeah, like they're 3 young.
Like teenagers.
Yeah, no, they were really young kids.
Say over what? What happened?
I think they, from the news, it's just like he snapped And you know, even like the mom had sympathy for him. She was like, when he came back from war or whatever, he just wasn't the same, and he didn't get the proper treatment or whatnot. Does insurance cover that?
What, like suicide?
Or not suicide, but just like that whole like PTSD or like.
So they do a part of underwriting. They do see like if you've had, excuse me, been diagnosed, excuse me, diagnosed with any type of illness, or they have a pharmaceutical report that they go off of. So if you were given certain drugs, they want to know why.
Yeah.
And if it is something that's risky to them, they will decline you.
That's another thing about insurance.
But that's the reality, though. Like, would you? I mean, I'm not defending it, but like, would you loan money out to somebody that you know probably gonna trick it off?
Probably not.
You know, like
No,
everybody runs their like risk.
But then there's always like those one people that do have a situation that won't get insured, like you know.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
And that's a lot of people. Like
It is.
That's a lot of people like have like you know asthma or have like you know bronchitis or some shit that they can't get rid of, and then either their premiums will skyrocket because of that,
Yeah.
or they won't get accepted. What do you say to those people?
Yeah, I know that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It does. It kind of sucks, but you know, the majority of people just choose not to get it, and they wait years to try to get it, and wait till you're sick to try to get it. Like, you probably should have got it when you were younger. That's what I gotta say.
I get it.
You know, but I do feel sorry for those that like who have kids or
What are there options for people like those?
Like diabetes and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
people that have something, that diagnosed with something and can't get accepted from a premium insurance company. What options do they have?
Some carriers, because I work with like 40 different carriers. So what one carrier may decline, another one may not decline. So it's just kind of knowing who to go to based off of the person's condition. Like, it's this one carrier that I work with that's more friendly for people who have diabetes, you know, or take some type of medication for their diabetes.
Yeah.
And sometimes they work with you. Like, for example, I had someone that was not declined, but the offer was, the initial offer was declined based off of what they found out with what's going on with her, because she had to go for a medical underwriting. So they counter offered her a different offering, which was going to be more costly, but it was an option for her to go the term route and do term for maybe the next year or two, get that under control, her condition under control, and apply again.
Yeah.
So it can kind of make, but these are things people need to work on anyway. So it can make you aware where you're at, and hopefully, you know, kind of work on it so you can get better, you know, coverage.
Sure.
So some carriers that do work with you, you know, just depends on the carrier. Some carriers just don't care and be like, no, and that's it. Like one carrier did decline her and said she can't ever apply for them again.
Why? Just because of her condition?
Their reason for declining, yeah.
Was her conditions too bad?
It wasn't bad. It was just their standards. Like, no, they just didn't have. They didn't care. But there was another carrier that I found for her, and they were willing to work with her. It was an issue.
Yeah. I get it.
So, I mean, yes, that does happen, but more often than not, people just choose not to get coverage or wait too long, you know, to get it.
I see. Well, nice.
Yeah.
What do you say to people? What do you say to the future insurance agent that's coming up?
What I would say to them is to just lock in. If this is something that you really want to do, it's not a business where you can just kind of sit back and, I mean, you could treat it. People do it part-time, too. People do it part time. People do it like a side hustle or whatever. But if this is what you want to do full time, like you really got to be all in, like really lock in. So and not getting discouraged because you're gonna hear a lot of no's.
Right.
So.
I get it.
But still know what you're offering is something that is valuable. Like you gotta believe in it. So.
Nice.
That's what I would tell them.
What's next for you?
I'm open to other business ventures, but I'm really focused on this right now. But simultaneously, I am looking to invest in another business venture. So,
like what?
Salon Suites.
Salon Suites.
Yeah.
Nice. Tell me about that. What's something that you're looking for in salon? Salon Suites like the barbershops, right? Where you rent
It
out
could be
space,
barber or hair
hair salons.
Yeah.
Where hairdressers, where they come out and they rent out space.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you want to get into that?
Because I want to do something that's more passive and won't require me to be on site, like that. So I just want to generate passive income right now.
I like that.
Because with life insurance, like it's loose to the ground, you got to be there. It's a lot of hustle and bustle, and I know I don't want to do that for the rest of my life.
You seem like one thing I like about you, right? One thing that's cool about you is that you're very motivated, right? Like you stay motivated. You're inspiring almost. What motivates you?
What motivates me are my goals, because in order to get there, I have to take certain steps to get there. So I have to do that. So it's like always having motion, So having motion looks like motivation, but sometimes it's just like you doing what you have to do, I'm not always motivated.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be tired and be like frustrated, all that. But it's more so the discipline, I think.
Yeah.
Like what I know I have to do to get it done, and doing it.
And then do you consider yourself at a disadvantage?
As far as
like to your competitor, like as far as like being a woman or that's perfect. Yeah, that's good because that's a good. Yeah, I don't feel like you have any disadvantages. If anything, you have the advantage. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it. It's this. He's a preacher, but he speaks on like business principles too. I love how he infuses business principles and like spirituality. His name is Myron Golden, and he says it all the time. Like, I don't have no competition. It's like no competition. He doesn't consider what anyone else is doing other than what he's doing. Like he's locked in on his self. Is it competition out here? Maybe people. I don't even think about that. What somebody else is doing.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. Like you really should be just focused on your own. And
people are inspiring to me though.
Yeah.
So people do inspire me, and it's like wow. Like Myron Golden, he was in the life insurance for years. And like where he is today is just like dang, like wow.
Where's he at? I never heard of him.
He is a pastor, and I don't know where he's located. I found him on YouTube one day, and I just been like binge watching his videos and messages.
Nice.
His sales strategies are backed up by like biblical principles and like just like the law of attraction, like just more mindset things than anything.
Yeah.
Hey, check this out right here. We in the building.